Today I will present about the pet insurance under Thai law. Before we focus on the pet insurance, firstly we will study on the theory of the insurance contract. In the insurance contract, there are two main contractual parties that refer to the insurer and insurer. The insurer is meant to the party who agree to pay the compensation or use of amounts of money to pay to the insured in case that there are the situation that stated in the policy has been occurred. And the insurer is referred to the contract party who agree to send the insurance premium to the insurer in response to the insurers agreeing to take the risk that stated in the insurance policy. And the insurance contract works as a tool to dispute of the risk by the insurer, who being a risk taker and spread the risk to the insurer by provide a coverage such in the insurance policy. And the purpose of the insurance contract is to make the average damage that may occur from the risk of one person to many persons who are in the same area of the risk. Okay. And next is, in Thai law, there are 6 general provisions that be concerned in entering into the insurance contract. The first one is insurable interest. That means to the insurer must be interested in both of the insurance contract and at the same time of the damage. But however, except for the marine insurance contract, that the insurer no need to have the interest while making an insurance contract. However, he must have the interest in the event of the disaster. And the second one is almost of the good faith. It means to the principle that the insurer and the insurer must be honest to each other, which in according to this principle, it shall be done by disclosing the fact or any truth information between the contract party. And the third one is identity. It means to the damage that occur as a direct result to the insured, and the insurer has to pay the compensation according to the actual loss. And the fourth one is suffocation. The principle that will happen after the insurer has paid the compensation to the insured in case of the damage has caused by the third party, and then the insurer can inherit all right of the insured to claim again to the third person who causes the damage to the insured. And the next one is contribution. In case of the damage, even if the insurer access of the credit value or get insured from multiple of insurer, that is will result in the overload amount to exist of compensation for the real damage. However, the insured will only receive for the compensation to the damage that are actually occur by averaging the compensation only for the real damage. And the last one is promised cost. It means to the insurer must compensate for the damage that's caused by the proximate damage, which be caused to the damage that occur to the insured. The proximate damage must be the direct impact on the danger or the damage that specified in the insurance contract. Okay. And now we will talk about the history of the pet insurance. The pet insurance business has been popularly used in the foreign country for a long time ago. In the foreign country, they have many forms and many regulations which used to support in this kind of business of the pet insurance. Okay, and the pet insurance is considered as a one type of the non-life insurance contract. It has a unique purpose and specific characteristic design with the policy that focus on the healthcare for the pet, and it comes with a concept to help the pet owner to reduce the overcost of the expensive expense for the veterinary or medical expense that occur from the accident that happened to the pet, or for any damage that occurred to the third party due to the action of the pet. Okay. And from this picture, you will see that how the pet insurance policy works and how the pet owner can choose and decide the pet insurance policy by their own interest to get a protection according to their coverage policy for their pet. Okay. And the problem is in my study is that because of in Thailand we have no regulation or any rule that you to set out the standard or giving the clearly specify of the word that relate by the law about the pet insurance. And over this reason, it results in the problem that is called the misunderstanding of the pet owner and the insurer. By in some time, the pet owner get misunderstanding in some word or some term or condition of the pet insurance, and then when they give information to entering into the insurance contract, they give a long information to the insurer, and then when the pet owner make a claim to get a compensation from the insurer, it shows that the most of the reason that the pet insurance company used to deny the liability from the claiming of the pet owner is in the result of the provision of the good faith. That means to the one important provision in making the insurance contract that require the pet owner to disclose the details or alter necessary information about the pet. Okay. And moreover, in the practice, the pet owner in Thailand sometimes give an unfair claiming to the pet owner by claiming that the disease of the pet is out of scope that stated in the policy. And actually, in some time, the insurance company pay the compensation to the pet owner in very late. Okay. And in my opinion, because of lack of the specific of the law that sufficiency and be suitable to use for the pet insurance business, over this point is make the problem around this issue. Okay. And in this picture you will see that nowadays Thailand have only 4 insurance company that provide the pet insurance service. Okay. And in Thailand, the pet insurance have classified in the miscellaneous insurance. Okay. By the way, in miscellaneous insurance can divide into 4 main categories. Okay. As you can see that the first one is personal protection, and the second one is property protection, and third is legal liability coverage to the third party, and the last one is coverage with regard to the other disaster. In this point, you can see that the pet insurance has paid in a rule of the property protection and the legal liability coverage to the third person. Okay. And in the US, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners has considered the pet insurance into the tab of the invalid insurance. The invalid insurance is the one kind of the insurance that can divide into purpose that the first one is property coverage, mean to the protecting the insured against of the loss and damage of the personal property from a variety of the police. Okay. And the next one is casualty insurance. It refers to the form of liability insurance that provide a coverage for the Negligence Act and omission and for various of malpractice coverage. Okay, and now you can see that in the US, the pet insurance regulation has been launched by the NAIC, like a regulation guide of the pet insurance. And in the California state is the first state that imposed and add the regulation into the state law, in which the California insurance law code number 12880 to 12880.6, as you can see in the picture that they have the definition, policy element, and other necessary information about the pet insurance service to be obeyed from this law. Okay, and the main concept of this law is that to provide the greater protection to the pet owner by the law require the insurer to disclose all the necessary information to the pet owner, and it also provide a 30 days free look period, which in the pet owner can return the pet insurance policy to the insurer and get a full of refund back in a specific period of time. Okay, and next is in the US, the pet insurance has used with the same idea and same purpose of the insurance that be used in US and in Thailand. But the pet insurance in UK will have a seriously concern to provide the coverage to the public liability and also the third liability insurance, because in England they have many provision of law that pays the duty and liability to the animal or pet owner to be well take care and well overlook for their pet or animal, and there must be strict liability to any damage that occurred to the public or the third person that due to the pet or animal action. Okay, as you see in the picture, and now we will focus on another point that be related to my topic is about the provision of the osmosis of good faith that considered as a one important condition in making an insurance contract. As you can see that in Thailand under the CCC section 865, the provision of the good faith is a duty for the insured only to be practiced on this provision. And in Thailand, the duty to the good faith provision is only to disclosure the true message or do not provide the false statement. Okay, unlike in England. In England, the provision of utmost of the good faith is required the duty from the insurer and the insurer. Okay, and they have the duty to disclosure the true information under the Article 18 and do not make a false statement by under the Articles 20. Okay, and in the UK, it has a wider meaning of the it has a wider meaning of the how to disclosure the true message, that it will be give the detail or information in the Article 17 that has been a wider meaning than in Thai law. Okay, and now in the US, because in the US in each state of the U.S. can be able to establish their own law and be enforced within own state. Okay, and as you see in the picture, this is the base of the insurance law of the U.S. that used for every state. That is the provision of assumption of good faith is required the both of the insurer and the insurer to be practiced of this law. Okay, and the scope of the duty is that they have the principle of misrepresentation and non-disclosure, and also the warranty. Okay, and by the way, in my study we will focus on the California state too, because to make a relate that why the pet insurance regulation in the California has the law or has a practical way in the pet insurance that way. Okay, due to the California state, okay, due to the good faith provision of the California insurance law that must be based on the U.S. law provision, as in the table before, in the last picture before, and that is have the same direction within the England, I mean to this picture. However, in California law, they also have the advanced provision as called bad faith provision. Within the insurance, bad faith is meant to the implied obligation of the good faith and fair dealing, that the insurance company must be unreasonable or without property act or fail to act in a manner that deprive of the benefits according to the policy of the insured. And by the way, it can be concluded that the bad faith provision is the way that the law allow the consumer, or the another word is mean to the pet owner, to bring the bad faith thought act against their insurer for breaching the duty of the good faith. On my proposed solution is that Thailand should give a more concern on the pet insurance business by the OIC refer to the Office Insurance Commission should amend the specific regulation used for the pet insurance under Thai law by giving the definition of each word or term that we use or relate in the pet insurance clearly, to make the both party, that mean to the insurer and the pet owner, can understand the word or any term or condition that state in the pet insurance policy in the same direction, and not be a cause of problem on the issue of the provision of the good faith that require the insurer to disclose the truth or the necessary information in the step of entering into the insurance contract and form of this provision that usually cause the dispute of diffusing the liability between the party in the contract insurance. And the next proposal is that the provision of the almost of good faith of Thai insurance law should be adjusted and be addition some provision as in the practice of this provision, it should be concerned on the duty that it should be practiced by the both party, that means to the insurer and the insured, in order to make more effective in giving guarantee from both parties in the insurance contract, which I think that if it's successful to be applied the law of the foreign country to our laws, it will give a wide of the protection to the pet owner or the consumer in the insurance contract, which will get the greater protection in order to solve the problem in the same part of a gap of the law, that the gap is often used as an excuse to deny a liability of the insurance company. And furthermore, it's not be good only for the pet insurance contract, but it also provide a hub of business to the whole scope for the Thai insurance. Thank you.